mais c'est le comble!
Ça le comble. On est vraiment mad. Mad? Madeleine Béjart! A full house? No, impossible. Impossible. No. When I first wrote it, yes, a full house. But now that I rewrote an almost entirely new play, a full house? No, impossible. No. I wrote the funniest play of France, and as soon as it was performed, censorship just fell from the sky. Not a lot of people have power over me. Yes, the king does, but he wouldn't censor me. He's my best friend. He wouldn't do this to me. It had to be somebody else. Not just anybody else. His tutor, the newly appointed Archbishop of Paris. Your Majesty, the war with the heretics! Blah, 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 blah. So no more Tartuffe! Causation clearly is a foreign concept to the Archbishop. Anyway, that wasn't enough. The king received an official pamphlet from the church, of which I remember every word as if they were burnt in my memory with a hot iron. Monsieur Poquelin! Because God forbid he actually learns my stage name. He's a demon clothed in flesh and dressed as a man. He's promised to the fire of hell for having dared to mock the function of a director of consciousness. I clap back with a letter directly addressed to His Royal Highness. The duty of the comedy being to correct the men by entertaining them, I believe, my lord, that in the job in which I found myself, I had nothing better to do than to attack with ridiculous paintings the vices of my century. And hypocrisy, undoubtedly, is one of the most inconvenient, of the most in use, and of the most dangerous. And the king, being an intelligent man, more so than the people who tutored him, understood my decision. We, King of France, see there was no malintent in the creation of this play. Indeed, I had very eloquently, if I do say so myself, explained that my reasons were not to mock the Catholic Church directly. Nonetheless, that letter did nothing. I still have to forbid the play, my friend. I'm sorry. So that happened. Fun times. We didn't have any more money. Catholic promise of hell, backed by the king's decree. I'm not gonna lie, we didn't have a lot of audience. I could not provide for anyone anymore, so technically I failed at life. The king actually did try to help. What can I do to help? Honestly, Your Majesty, you're not really helping. And being the obedient man that I am, I rewrote the play. I changed almost everything about the character. Tartuffe had its own right to be performed and laughed upon. I changed his costume, his occupation. There was even a version of the play where I added 2 acts. The play got a happy ending, except for Tartuffe. He got what was coming for him. And I still kept some hints of witticism and critique, but I made sure that it was church appropriate. The king even tried to help me. What if Tartuffe is more sly? What if an officer makes up for my lackey and comes in with a solution? What if he really wanted that play to work? He knew what it meant to me to make this play a success. New version finally emerged, and I felt confident. But that confidence quickly ran out, because who got wind of it again? Yes, the Archbishop. Your Majesty, I will excommunicate anyone who will perform, read, or even hear this heresy. In nome Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, Amen. I still have to forbid the play, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too. For your royal back, it feels like Your Highness bowed pretty low this time. So that happened again. But this time it was different, because there was nothing I could do. There was nothing the king could do. So yeah, that was hard. I seriously considered going back to my father's shop to be an upholsterer, because that's all I ever was, really. An upholsterer who got lucky. the king did try everything. He even investigated the archbishop, and he found out that Monseigneur didn't have the text. He never read the fucking play, excuse my French. But he didn't like it. He didn't like it anyways. And what happens when the Catholic Church doesn't like something? Excommunication for anyone who comes into contact with it.
Jean-Baptiste, 2 partitions avant lever du rideau.
Merci de. Funny enough, Tartuffe was the first play I wrote with the music of my child's babbling. When we announced Armand's pregnancy, the king was ecstatic. He asked to be the godfather of the child. The godfather, the king of France, wanted to be my child's godfather. I almost choked on that one. Anyway, February 24th of the year 1664, the day that His Royal Highness gave me the ID for the Tartuffe, mind you, a messenger announced to me that Armand's labor had started, so I ran home, and I arrived just in time to see my son helped into the world. He was so tiny. But even with a face contorted by the pain of a first breath, he was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Obviously, we named him after his godfather, Louis Poquelin, my son. We would take him with us everywhere during the Tartuffe creation process, and I'm gonna trip on this fabric, figure out I'm the son of an upholsterer, I should know my fabrics. I took him to rehearsals, performances, my office, to my meetings with the king when I read him my drafts. He was born the day I had the idea for the play. He had to see it blossom, just as he did. Oh, and then this night before Christmas, here I was. Hold on, my passionate fellow, not so fast. Oh, I should advise a little more restraint. Well, so you thought you'd fool me? My dear saint? How soon you were rid of that saintly life? Wedding my daughter and coveting my wife? At least the archbishop couldn't censor my performance to my son. Louis thinks the play is very funny. When I stopped, he sat up. And he stood up. He was 10 months old, and he could stand on his own. I was so proud of him. Please, dear God, if you exist, get my thoughts away from that damn priest. He's no innocent shepherd. He's barely smarter than a bird. And I need an idea, and I need it quickly. Otherwise, in front of the king at Mass, he is going to kick my carcass. It's been 4 years since that night. I feel like these walls are still echoing the thunderous scream of my wife when she went to kiss our son goodnight. He was gone in an instant. That's all it took. An instant. That's when I started reworking the play, because I needed the word to occupy my mind and not let my thoughts sink in. People were still counting on me. My wife, my company, my king. I could not let someone down again. There was nothing I could do for my son, but there had to be something I could do for everybody else. Something I could do to save us from bankruptcy. But guess what? Anything I tried, any versions of the play I would put out, the archbishop was here to bring me down and censor me. He said to me that my son was taken away so his soul could be protected from my sins. What sins? What soul? He's gone. I lost everything. And for what? I just want to make people laugh. Am I wrong for that? He was right to laugh. My play is funny. All my plays are funny. I'll make him laugh again. I'll make France laugh again. I'm the father of French theater. I invented French comedies, ballet comedies. I'm the man who can make the working class, aristocracy, and royalty laugh. But there was no saving grace. None of the versions made it past the Archbishop. I was about to offer to let everybody go. Go! Have a better life! Without me. And then on February 3rd of the year 1669, some 5 years after my son's birth and Tartuffe's birth, that war between the heretics and the Catholics, well, that was over. And peace was reached over a settlement that favored one side on top of the other, figures. Wonder whose side that was. Today is February 5th of the year 1669, 2 days after said settlement, and under royal orders, I am getting ready to perform a certain role from a certain play in front of the King of France and his subjects. Of course, it's a full house. For a mere actor and writer, I sure got the church's sacred attention. If my sin is to write theater, to act theater, to be theater, then let me be the greatest sinner to have ever walked this earth. You see, church controls people's lives with the threat of hell, while theater frees them with the promise of humanity. Where could they possibly prefer to go? I wonder. Oh, and to know that the King of France, Louis XIV, the Sun King, the elder son of the church himself, prefers me over the church? Oh, how I savor the irony. Catholics usually say Habemus Papam when the new leader arises, correct? Well now, Habemus Molière. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Rideau!
Merci, Rideau! I hope it'll make him laugh as much as the first version did. Yeah, I hope we'll make friends laugh tonight. We only had 2 days and 2 nights to produce an almost entirely new play. Whew. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be put together, but it's going to be enough. It has to. This is my last chance to prove to the world that I'm worthy of laughter. So let's give them one hell of a show.
Allons, Flipote, allons, que de je me délivre.
Vous marchez d'un tel pas.
Offensez de la sorte une sainte personne. Laissez, ne venez pas plus loin.
Ciel, pardonnez-lui la douleur qu'il me donne.
Madame, avant-hier, la fièvre jusqu'au soir, avec de mal de tête
Oui,
étrange à concevoir.
Et Tartuffe? Oui, c'est bien dit. Allons à ses pieds avec joie, nous louer des bontés que son cœur doux y mène, couronné en Valère, la flamme d'un amant généreux et sincère.
Tartuffe ou l'hypocrite vous a été présenté ce soir dans le Palais Bourbon par la compagnie de son Altesse Royale Louis XIV, roi de France.
Au nom de la France et de nous-mêmes, bravo.
Pour clôturer cette soirée, nous souhaitons adresser des remerciements tout particuliers à notre bien-aimé auteur, et ce soir, dans le rôle d'Orgon, Jean-Baptiste Poquelin de Molière.